like percussion, the Symphony Series String Ensemble has the giant knob in the middle and the 4 sections, though whereas this is tune in percussion, it is release, and where release was on percussion, there's attack, and where attack was, there's expression, and then we have brightness on the right here instead of velocity. So that's what that. Now the release controls the time of short articulations, as it says down there, and the decay time of long articulations. So let's do this. Bring the release down. Ooh. Now, of course, right now we have the reverb turned on, and that is in our mixer section. 3 sections down below, just like usual. If we turn that, right now it's on cinematic and modern. We turn that off, and then go back to performance. Very dry, very flat sounding, and then. About the same. Everything got shorter when you do it now. So I'll leave the release there, and we'll actually turn the reverb back on for the moment. Down here you can see that it is a full ensemble of 60 players. That is what they recorded. And we have our different articulations over here on the right. And this kind of gives you a visualization of what that is. But let's jump back up to brightness. I kind of jumped around there. So, brighter. This is almost like the cutoff. Too bright, that may be painful. Now what I wish I could do is control that with one of the knobs here, and there might be a way for that. This is not completely set up for that yet. It does have a DAW control mode, but we're not doing a review of that right now, so it is an older keyboard, so not everything is up to date with the latest in this space here. So now over here we have the attack, and this is, as we move it to the right, it gets a bit softer and I would say muddier. Not really, actually not muddier, but slower. Again, going extreme to give you an idea of what it does. Now we could back it off maybe 40%, 41. And it would just be like that. So now I tend to keep it on 0. So far, there may be cases where I want to move it around a bit, and I could hear that when I did it less than 100. It's okay, I can work with this. Now this is overall volume, so that's interesting. Expression. Okay, that is actually 0. 0 means 0. Good to know. So now, but what happens when you turn up the intensity to maximum? and have this at 0. It's still 0. Okay, so go back to 4%. Ah! It's hard doing this with a mouse. There we go. That is also 0. Of course, we could control the dynamics knob with the mod wheel. %50 is nice. Okay, we'll bring the expression back up, so... Now, as interesting as this is, in fact, let's play a little bit. There are several different articulations, so we're going over the articulation section here. And you can actually select them right here. And, ooh, this is cool. We could edit this. But before we do that, so you can either click on them here, or on your keyboard, they're actual key switches. So right here at the top of the keyboard, we have our key switches for those same articulations. And as you can see in the window, they're changing as I click on them, or as I press them on the actual keyboard. So here we go. F6 is sustain. F#6 is sordino, sus, with vibrato, and so on. So kind of abstract. Let's actually play those. So sustain, sordino, tremolo on G6, staccato, G#6, so we're on G#6, and then A6 is spiccato. Alright, and then pizzicato, which is A#6. And I need to hear that. There we go. So my favorite. Crank it. Okay, that one's just fun for me. Now, at the top, B6 is none, and C7. What I kind of miss is the harmonic articulation. So maybe we can add that. Okay. Long, we got sustain. Oh, well, let's come over here to B6. octave run up. That will be interesting. Yeah, let's add octave run up. And then 7. We don't have any other options. So this is a new section for me. I have not played with this. It looks like you can change the velocity of each of these to be so. Can you? Yeah, velocity range. Oh, it's just telling you what that is. There's key C7. Okay, so this will be interesting. Let's try this. That could be a very, very fun articulation. Okay, so that's what we got there. Oh, I think I have octave runs up on each of them, so let's clear that slot. Short, long. Okay. There's more I need to learn on this section. It appears that you could put more in the slot, but that is the part that I need to discover. So it was nice to add that last one in there. And then there are some in the Symphony Essential series. There are some other articulations, and you could use these in conjunction with each other. So let's go back to sustain, and we will take a look at the mixer section. Like usual, we have our compressor and our EQ and our reverb sections, which we covered before in the Symphony Essential series. Right now it's on modern film. The really different thing about this is the microphone mixer, and that the Essentials doesn't have, but the full series does. So we have 3 microphone positions: far, mid, and close, which are basically what they say. And then of course stereo. Right now we're on stereo. And then we have our close microphone. Now one of these has to be on at all times. I'm actually going to turn this off. So close. Actually turn off the reverb just to get a sense of how it sounds with that. So here we go. Okay, close. Mid. gives a little bit of distance. And you may have heard either close or mid in some string libraries. They usually don't have, or in the past, they did not have all three. I think East-West Instruments had the 3 mic positions, and still does. So this is far. And then you can actually turn all of them on. Wait, let's play far by itself for a bit. Now, we'll turn them all on. And our stereo, so those sound like they're all kind of... Alright, we add stereo in, make the computer work some more. This is why these sample libraries are so large. Turn stereo off for a minute. Now underneath you could change each of these to be stereo 1. Oh. I think these are the outputs on the computer, so. And then I'm going to leave them on default for now. And put this on. It just makes it much wider sounding with the stereo on. Struggling a little bit. So we can adjust the sound by maybe bringing the close mic down like this. Or maybe you want these to be down lower. Maybe you want it higher. And this one like that. And then Yeah, I was just watching the voices here, and it was going. Yeah, I think when it maxes out. Yeah, you kind of lose some notes there. It goes. So, and that made me think the way that I would use this in a production would be to have different instances of it, so to avoid that. So some parts might just be on one track, and then we have so together. And then just to take some of the load off of the individual instrument, I think. Just off the top of my head here, that would be a good solution for that. But for ideas, of course, I'm just going to play it all like this. So if we bring this one up and these ones down, what do we get? Tighter, more intimate sound. And then, with the mic positions and the reverb, now, this third section called setup, which is different from the Essential series, is that right now we have the full ensemble of 60 players, but we could go full with a smaller violin section, so it's playing every string ensemble except violins B. Just add it back like this. Let it load. I think for faster load times, I'm actually going to turn off some of these microphone positions. Right. There we go. Okay. And then Divisi instrument set up to play all members of the string ensemble with halved section size. It does sound small. And now B also playing them with half size, but has a different sound. And more of the violins here, and this has a different tone to it. Now, something I've noticed as I've been playing this is that it does not just yet, I don't know if it will, but it doesn't get stuck notes. Sometimes when I'm playing the Symphony Essentials series, I could play a whole chord like something big like... and I let go, and one of those notes is stuck on like maximum velocity going... and the only way to get it to stop is to actually mute the track and then maybe close it and open it again. But so far that has not happened with the Symphony series. Alright, so let's hop back over to the mixer and we'll dabble in the EQ a little bit. We have our three bands, low, mid, and high. So what's our frequency here? 625 hertz. Now the reason it isn't affecting anything yet is that I have not turned on the power. So that's one of the things that you want to make sure you do. This knob's right here. Sometimes it's easy to forget the little power button there. So there we go. And we can actually sweep frequencies with this, so... So we turn that down, or we could say, for example, I want to turn up 80 hertz. Try to land on 80 here. It's kind of hard without a physical rotary knob. Okay, 83, good enough. A bit of 80 hertz down here. That was probably hard on the ears, but you could just hear it get really warm. So if we wanted them to be cold and it's kind of hard to hear that lowest one. A lot of 80 hertz content down there. But that pretty much leaves these untouched, sort of, right? All these frequencies are interconnected, so... Alright, and then our mid frequencies, right now this is in the middle, also at 632, and this is, what is this one? BW. So let's go ahead and so this is the bandwidth. That should have been obvious, right? So this is a very wide section. Very narrow. So if I wanted to, say, for example, take out, can we take out 500? Not really necessary for, in this case. Well, let's try 496, leave it there. No, it's not quite like a notch. Now we're taking out like that specific. It's almost it's a very haunting type sound. Very distant. Almost like on the radio. Not modern radio, like a really tiny bad speaker. And then here, same thing. We could do a sweep. They're all by default in the middle, so we could go. That's 20 kilohertz. So let's actually turn down something we can hear a little more, like 1 kilohertz. Oh, yeah, very pokey. Turn it down. That leaves it open. Let's turn down 3. Now, that's very kind of pinched and not so nice sounding. So if we bring it back up here, and we'll try to hit 0 on here, which is neither. I wish I had the double click feature where it would just reset to 0, but it doesn't. So okay, and let's put the gain up to. Okay, so now just by affecting the highs right now, made it more muffled. And now listen. So that's our EQ. Opened it back up. Now our compressor threshold sets the volume at which it kicks in. So right now it's at 0 decibels. Let's bring that down so we can hear it affect the sound. You can hear it really grabbing the sound. We put it back up to 0. Sort of. Okay. To -10. Now, we have our ratio, which is 4:1. That's, that's modest. But our attack time is very fast. 3 milliseconds. Yeah, it's faster than you can hear. So let's actually crank it up to. Oh, it counts. So there's 0.1, which would be very, very fast. You'd probably have almost no attack. And you can hear it let go with the release. So your attack, you want to be just a little bit slower than 3 milliseconds in this case. And 30 is about that. That's still faster than. You can sort of hear. Also, again, okay, and the release is at. Let's put the release at 100 milliseconds. And now, and then there's auto. So. But the slower the releases means the harder it is squashing down on that signal to prevent the peaks or clips. So the attack is fairly quick, and then it's holding it and slowly releasing it. If we were to tighten up the release here, 100 milliseconds. As we do it to the, well, not to auto, because that is where it chooses 1600. You notice how you're kind of hearing the reverb more than the actual sound. Just opens up real wide at the end. Yeah, so that's why you want it to let go a little bit sooner. In this case, I'm going to do it like that. It's still, crunching it, but it's close. Now, the gain at the end, this is the makeup gain, because whenever you compress these things, you've lowered the overall volume. So the makeup gain, if you can imagine it like this, okay, so you compressed it, here's the floor, here's the top, you compressed it, it's softer. So now makeup gain takes the whole signal, does that. So that's extreme. Here you can actually have it make it quieter too, if the result of your compression actually makes it, with other aspects like, say, saturation and stuff, it becomes louder. You can dial it back down so that it actually is the tone you're going for and not just the volume. Anyway, little advanced details there. I'm going to turn it off though, because I like how it sounds without the compressor. So there, we've covered all the sections here in mixer and our microphone positions. And now we're going to take a look at just the individual string, if I can spell string correctly here. There we go. Sections. So this is so we can see them. So right now we're on the string ensemble. If we go back to the beginning, we have basses with their own set of articulations. And by default, again, it's on the top there. Oh, we are hearing our brass instruments. Let's mute those. The resonance of that note. Okay, now I'm going to actually turn the intensity down like that. Our dynamics knob, which now what's really cool is here's the auto divisi is turned on, and what that means is it's doing sections on its own. So we got one note, 8 players, 2 notes, 4 plus 4. And one of the things you notice is that the full range of the basses is a little bit beyond. Let's hop back just briefly. So here are our basses. Let's see, ensemble. Yeah, it doesn't show us the range. Here you got our basses, cellos and basses. Basses. Basses can play a little bit higher than that. So that portamento here with the legato, and we can actually change the speed of that. So one note, 8 players. That's interesting. And then as you add more notes, something the Essentials didn't have with their basses, didn't have the portamento. Everything else here is the same as the rest of the strings, including our setup. Oh, well, our setup. We can make it 4 players to make it smaller. And we have this set of 4 as well. These are further away, and these are closer. So only basses only bass is A playback, and this one is only basses. This has to be B, because B can't be A and also A being A. And then, so then we have all 8 of them. Okay, articulations are at the top, just like the rest of the strings. So let's pop this open. We might be able to read them better. So we have our legato, like we're doing. And then in D4, no, C sharp 4, we have sordino. In D, we have tremolo. Okay, D sharp 4, harmonics. Oh, here are our harmonics, which we're missing from the main part. I missed that when we were going through the big part of the ensemble, but here it is in the individual ones, and that is, if I had to guess, I'd say that was to save space, because if they had all those articulations on the full 60 players, it would probably be real. I don't know that it's any harder than the other articulations, but that's just the first thing that pops into mind. So we have our marcato. That's not to be confused with staccato. And so its auto divisi is turned off, but we do have the round robin in our quad shape. And then is it gonna let me do the repetition? Yes. With accent in those places that are taller. Then we have the divisi. And that division seems to keep it from getting getting muddy. Yeah, just observations here. So, and as I play with these more, I'll have more more understanding. They don't exactly tell you on the website all of this. So then we have spiccato. Which is different from staccato. With a repetition. Yeah. Okay, and then we have pizzicato. So we can accent. We can choose which accents we do. 1 and 3, and 1 and 3. That's what we saw before. And also strong accent 1 plus 3. That's even taller. And when you turn on the repetition, and then of course no accent at all. So that can be something you can do with that. So we move on to the cellos, or celli. Now, they changed the key switches to the bottom, looks like. They're at top up here. Now they're at the bottom, which makes sense. Cellos don't go as low as basses. 10 players. No wonder they have so many. Okay. Now, articulations once again. So we have at C0 our legato. Pitch bend. Okay. Sordino, sus, vibrato. So 3 notes, you got 5 players on each note. That's interesting. 10 players per 1 note. Okay, so tremolo. One of the things you would do is, if you're going to switch between these articulations, is have them on a separate instance of this instrument on a separate track, and do it that way. This is a cool effect. Octave run up. Those are always fun. Oh, here's... But right now it's in major, so we could put it to minor. Oh, okay. All right, I can hear it. It's a slight difference. And then as we move up to F0, never staccato. And we've already been over what the accent does with the basses. It's pretty similar. We'll just go. Make it stronger still with the strong 1+3. And once you get the timing right, it doesn't go clip-de-clop, de-clip. Nothing wrong with that sound, of course. F-sharp 0, or spiccato. Staccato. Spiccato. Pizzicato. Very nice, very, very beautiful in the way that they sample this. Now we hop back over. This is a string ensemble, but we've done that. We're going to skip past that and go to the violas. And the final section will, of course, be the violins. Starting again with our legato. And we can see over here that there's 12 players. And we have our setups of different, you can do it in 12 or 6 players, kind of like you could split on the basses. So we'll just hop down here. 6 players. Different section of 6 players. All 12 players once again. And of course our mixer, close, mid, and far, just as before. We got our modern film reverb on. All right. So those aspects stay the same, but our articulations here just so C0, C sharp 0, sordino, tremolo, trills. Now these trills don't so much work lower down, it would seem, because they that have this articulation here and not below. And at E0 again, we have our harmonics. F0, we have our staccato. And spiccato. And then our pizzicato, G0. All right. And finally, our violin section. As it's loading here. Same thing. Now this one has the biggest section of 30 players. Ooh, very sharp in my ears. Hopefully your ears are still intact. Our portamento. Ooh, that's cool. 16 plus 7 plus 7. And plus 8 plus 7 plus 7. So 16 and 14. Very nice. So that's our legato. We have the legato controls, portamento / legato. And I think it's cool how it switches between the portamento and the legato just so smoothly. Okay, so sordina, as usual, our tremolo and D0. Trills on D0, D sharp 0, sorry. And adventure's beginning. Okay, so we have E0, our harmonics. Harmonics are some of my favorite parts of the string sound, just the way they're kind of airy. It's violin, so that's as low as it goes. Our staccato at F0. F sharp 0 is our spiccato. And then pizzicato at G0. So that's pretty much the strings. Now it doesn't have a solo strings, but the woodwinds do have a solo, and so do the brass instruments, which will be our next section that we'll look at. So let us preview that at this time. Brass ensemble. All right.